Hello YouTubers, Sir Slappywig here. I'm going to be doing a Tropico 5, somewhat of a tutorial how-to series on here. I've had a lot of feedback from people that do love this game, but it's a very large learning curve, so they don't fully understand how to make a lot of money quickly or stop rebels from destroying the palace or whatever the case may be. So what I'm going to do here is, in the first part, I'll show you how to make money quickly and get out of the colonial age. So, I'm going to do this on the sandbox mode. Down to sandbox, select my dynasty, put this back to colonial era. I'm putting this at 100,000 for starting money. You can of course select however much money you want. If you want it unlimited, you could just build and build, don't have to worry about anything at any time. Your economic difficulty, that's basically saying how hard or easy it is to make money. Your political is how often people protest or have uprisings or whatever the case is. Your disasters, I personally don't like having them on relentless because that's your tornadoes, your earthquakes, your volcanoes, whatever the case is. But I don't like them having them off. I'll have them rare for this, just so I don't have to worry, but it'll still happen, so I can still show you what to do. So I'll start the game up now. It's on a randomly generated map, a huge map, so we'll see what it gives us. When you do that, the resources that you get are random. You may or may not have fish off your shore, you may or may not have gold or oil or whatever. It's random. I'll wait for this to load here, and I'll pause the game, and I'll do a quick over of what you see when you load the game up. Now, and I am doing this on the PS4, which is basically 90% the same as on PC, if you don't include the fact that you can mod any PC game. The only difference is probably the graphics. Obviously, the better PC you have, the better graphics you'll have. PS4, the graphics are set as what they are, as well as the controls. You have a keyboard and mouse on the computer. You don't have that on the system, but the people that made Tropico, they did a really good job on using the controller for the PlayStation 4 as well as the Xbox series of consoles for you to be able to do this game without any difficulties. Okay, moving on. So, we're in the colonial area. We loaded up here. The first thing that you're always going to want to do is to connect your road over to your dock. Then that way your teamsters, which are located in this building here, can actually transport goods. In transporting goods, it makes you money. For now, it always gives you a ranch. For now, it gave us a pig's ranch. All right, I'll explain all that coloration in a little bit. So, the next thing that you'll notice too is you also have this icon floating. These are missions. You'll get them throughout the campaign, throughout multiplayer, throughout everything that you do in this game. You will randomly get these. For you to select these, you have to hit the circle button and it'll bring it up.
Greetings, old chap. Have I got a deal for you
this
today?
will always show
As
up.
Crown
This basically
representative,
opens
I
up.
can offer you your very own
Talky talk.
trading license.
What it will do is it'll open up shipment trading, so then you can, outside of what your teamsters are bringing to your dock, you can set up specific resources to be sent to other nations so you can make extra money. If you have enough money, depending on what you start with, I recommend the platinum package because it gives you more trading routes. You can access that simply by holding R2 and pressing triangle. It has the little ship's wheel symbol there. If you press triangle, it will bring this up. If you use your bumpers, you can select through your different tabs. Now, so at the top it'll say what each tab is. If there's, say I am making a high amount of tobacco once I build a farm for it, I can export this out to the West India Company. Ideally, the red arrow is exporting. That's you sending it out and making money. Ideally, when you're doing that, you want to go with the highest amount of money. Buy low, sell high. if you are, see here, if you are, say, you don't have any trees, but you want to have an industry that involves wood, such as a lumber mill and furniture factory, you can import your logs. You can do that with any resources such as coal, iron. Like if you're trying to run a power plant and you don't have any coal, you can import your coal. You just want to look for the green arrow and the lowest amount of money. So with that aside, if you press triangle, it'll bring up your build menu here. You can go through your tabs for your different types of buildings that you can build. Now you're not going to have access to every building that it shows on here until you get to the appropriate age. For now, because we're in the colonial age, there's not much that you can build, but you still can get a good money started. So we're going to start here with building the road out. When you select the road, most of your buildings will have an arrow on them. You can see the dock has a red arrow. Teamster's office and construction office here both have green arrows. Both of those mean that they are connected to a road. You're going to want to connect your buildings to a road. Then that way, like I mentioned earlier, your Teamsters can actually transport your goods, so you can make money, right? So connect the dock here, and you just bring the road over, bam, look, it turned green. It's good to go, so people can actually start transporting goods, right?
In an effort to improve the health of his subjects, His Majesty has issued a new decree. All citizens must eat at least one piece of...
Okay, so that just gave me a mission. It'll pop up in the corner here. This just says new plantation banana. That's great because we're going to build farms anyways. The quickest, easiest way for you to make money is plantations and ranches, which is these two right here. Your farms and your animal farms, husbandry, that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do here is open up a plantation. Now what it does is it brings up this grid with the different colors. What that shows is where the blue hatch squares are on the farm, that's where the field is going to be. The more green the grid is, the better for that crop. So as you can see over here, we've got some green. If I were to plant that there, the bananas would grow. We'd have more bananas growing. Over here it's red and yellow. We wouldn't have as much growing at all. So ideally you want to build your farms in green zones. Press your bumpers, you can flip your field around. That's with any building. So I'm going to place my plantation there. And because it has this arrow here, I want to connect it to the road, like that. What I normally do when I play is I pre-build my roads. So I don't have to have a weird set of roads going, you know, every which way. I can just build in the appropriate spots that I have. Okay, so I have one field on the way. You're going to want to build more than that, all right? Because you want to get money going. If you take a look here, you've got a long list of all the different crops that you can do. You got your cocoa, which has more green area over here. That's your chocolate. So, because there's green over here, I'm going to build one over here, and once that's built, it'll have a very decent amount of production. Now, coffee. Coffee beans, as you can see, are a different grid. Cocoa and banana are pretty much the same type of soil that grows it. Coffee is a little different, it needs a little more dry. So this area will work perfectly. What I'm going to do is going to build it right here. So that's mostly in the green, right? You're always going to want to build corn. You can build corn in most places, but what corn does is it will feed your ranches. Your ranch animals need food, and it will feed your people. What you would probably want to focus more on is cash crops as you're building, just to get a cash flow going. You don't need to build a whole lot. See, this is probably all I'm building right now for farms. See, this is not connected to a road, so I'll swing road right over here, build that down, done. Now, that I got those down, I want to build a ranch. If you take a look at the ranch here, you've got cattle that'll do milk and meat. That feeds your people. Goats feed your people with milk. Pigs feed your people with meat. So if you want specifically meat, specifically milk, you can go with either or. They also have a grid pattern here, as you can see as I'm flipping through. Some are good, some are not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build a cattle ranch here. That's in the green, alright. And if you go over to industry goods, there's two types of industries. There's industry goods and industry luxury goods. Your industry goods tend to create more pollution, which I will cover in another video further down the road. But they're also your cheapest, and you can build a majority of them a lot sooner. Now, because I built the cattle ranch, which produces milk, I can further that milk into a creamery and make cheese, which will again make me more money at the beginning of the game. Beginning of the game. All right. So I have those built. Speed up time here so then my construction workers can start building. All right. That's my money taken care of right there. You don't need a lot in the colonial era. Now, when you bring up your build menu, you'll have the suggested building library. Those are things that your people are asking for that you don't have, or maybe you do have it, but it's not building enough. Like say you have too many ranches and you don't have enough cornfields. You can build more cornfields. Okay, so I'm going to build a library here. What libraries do is they build research. So then you can, as you hold the L2, press X, bring up the research menu. You can take a look here and see if you research the shovel, it will unlock mines for me so that I can start mining iron and coal and all that kind of stuff, right? It'll start unlocking other buildings, other options that you can do with the buildings, your constitutions, and it will progress you in the ages, right? So, with that done, now the next thing it's going to do is, I'd recommend it, but it recommends it for you anyways, is build houses for your people. Because if you don't build houses for your people, you have these shacks, and they make people upset. You're not getting rent money. The list goes on. Basically, you don't want to have shacks, right? When you're building your houses, you want to have your houses as close as possible to your workplaces, so that people don't have to travel as far, right? So I got some houses on the way. Next thing that you're going to want to do, now this is all focused on making your people happy, right? So the next thing that you're going to want to do is build entertainment. You don't have much for entertainment to start with. You basically just have a tavern, which I just threw down, and you have an opera house. The opera house, I don't worry about it because until you get to the World Wars era and upgrade it, only rich people can go to the opera house. You're not gonna have a lot of rich people to begin with, right? So,
His Royal Majesty has instructed me to present you with this letter of commendation for your achievements in the name of the Empire.
I have a choice of what I want. Until you get the gist of how to get out of the colonial era, which I will cover more in depth on the second part as I'm starting to run out of time, always go with the additional mandate extension. Because if you take a look where your amount of money is, where you got your map, you got your amount of money, your amount of people, and the amount of approval. It says there with a calendar symbol, 4 years, 10 months. You have that amount of time to get out of the colonial era. If you do your extensions, it increases that time. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to end the video here. Again, this is Sir Slappywig. Any comments, feedback, please comment away, like, subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next part. Have a good day.